Hey guys, it's Aching Blood, and I'm back with another video. So obviously this one's going to be a little different since I'm actually talking for the first time. So I'm going to try not to sound too nervous, even though I already recorded this another time, but since iMovie's dumb, it just cut out like half of it, so I'm basically doing the first half again. So just bear with me in my talking. So most of you already knew this was coming because I posted a poll on the Fae amino, but I just want to say a few disclaimers first. So I did originally plan for this to be 7 battles instead of 3 that you're going to see today of my core and arena assault, but again, since iMovie's dumb, I had to shorten the video because storage issues on my phone, I guess, and obviously everything on the screen's not going to show because, iMovie again, and I couldn't add my voice otherwise. So sorry for that in advance. So what I'm about to talk about today is I mentioned on the amino that I want to speculate on my boy Odin's for fine that he's getting this week, and I thought I might as well talk about what I thought all the other retainers from Fates could have as pref weapons. So I'm just gonna get started right now. So Odin's are fine. I've been like anticipating it for like a really long time, and I think it's a pretty obvious what it's gonna be. It's probably just gonna be a slaying tome because his grimoire in Fates was basically just a different version of Mjolnir. So it could either be that or slaying effect, but I'm gonna go with the slaying effect just because it would just help him get more specials faster, especially since he already comes with Moonbow, so it would just work. And then his Refine could be something similar to Wrath to simulate aching blood. So, but not like exactly the same, not just the Woe Hour Refine, but something fresh. I'd appreciate it, and it would just make Odin like all the more better. He already destroys things, but okay, so next, I got Gunther on my list. And Gunther, he didn't really have a pref weapon in Fates, but he did have a potion named after him, so I thought, well, maybe he should just have a renewal effect in this weapon, especially since it would go well with his high defense anyway. And then the Refine, I thought should be something like Infantry Rush, since his personal skill in Fates was basically giving plus 15 hit, I think, and plus 3 attack to Corrin whenever he was supporting him in pair up stance. So I thought it should give like an infantry rush effect, but to any movement type, and a drive attack, but only to the support partner just to make it balanced. I definitely think it would like give Gunther more of a niche over Frederick, since a lot of people just think he's worse, even though he does technically have like quite a bit more res than him, but that's, I just think any unit can be good. So moving on. So Jacob's next, since Felicia already got a Refine. And Jacob, well, he had his Trey in Fates, which gave plus 3 defense, or plus 4 defense, but since we don't really have a weapon that gives plus 4 to a stat, only plus 3 and plus 5 with a Duma, so I think they just give plus 3 to his defense since he's not really like a special or brave hero or anything, so it'd just be plus 3. And then it'd probably have a smoke dagger effect considering it like debuffed skill along with defense and res and fate, so I might as well just transition that to a smoke dagger effect by debuffing everything. And then the Refine, I feel like, well, again, it had to do with Corrin and supporting him in pair up stance and fates, so it gave plus 10 or 15 to avoid, I think, while also letting Corrin take less damage. So I think that would transition well to heroes by giving like basically what Brazen Speed and Defense would be, but only to support partners. So it'd be pretty on par with Corrin and Marv's Refines, just instead of giving plus 4 to every stat with Corrin, it gives plus 7 to 2 stats, which I think is really balanced. So, and again, it would give him a niche. Just be like more supportive while also benefiting himself with smoke dagger effects. And then next I have Saizo on my list, and well, I'd be excited for this one too, considering Saizo's on my core right now. So in Fates, it gave a rally attack effect whenever he attacked, but obviously that didn't really work too well with like regular Symblion's effect, so I think it should just have a drive attack 2 effect like it does with the refined Symblion. And then Saizo can usually just keep the smoke dagger effect that he already has by default, since like Jacob's Tray, it debuffed a lot of stats in Fates besides defensive ones, so it would just make sense, especially since he already comes with it.
Let's go.
And then they're fine.
Okay. Of course.
I wanted to like make it unique, but not too broken, because at first I wanted to make it something like Savage Blow, and I'm just like, well wait, that would just, Jafar already has that niche, so why give it to Saizo? So I decided to like spice it up a bit by giving it, so he basically has like an instant AoE when he's below 75% HP every turn with ×2 damage. And it might sound broken, but it's really not when Saizo only has like 29 base attack, so... And when you can stack that with Bonfire, it basically puts him on par with like the nuke builds you see on Kagero and stuff. So I think it'd be really cool on him and really fun to play with. And after him, we got Kagero, and Kagero's Dart in Fates was really weak. It only had the might of 1, so I honestly think it makes sense for her to keep the Poison Dagger effect, and so it wouldn't really have a might of 14 like every other preferred ranged weapon, but it would, you know, considering it's effective against almost more than half the entire game, it would just be fair, I think. And it has weaker defense and res smoke debuffs than other daggers, but her Refine is pretty good in that it's basically just Ice Mirror because she had Shirk and Mastery in Fates. So, and considering Kagero takes a lot of damage anyway with her low defense, it would just really help her by, especially with Vantage builds, just like nuking things. I guess not Vantage builds, but just getting hit once and then nuking things on the first hit because she's taking so much damage. Unlike Huon, where it's like she can get a decent amount, but like unless she's running life and death, she really doesn't take that much damage to return a hit.
So excited.
So I think that gives Kagero more of niche besides just being like a budget mage check with Vantage. And then after Kagero, technically comes Azama, and since Azama is just a healer in this game, he can't exactly have a pref weapon, but I tried to come up with a preferred staff for him since his canon staff in Fates is the Purification Rod, which doesn't really have any offensive effect, so I had to really think about this one, and it's like, well, he might as well just have a Dazzling and Pain Plus effect as the regular attribute of the weapon, and then the Refine, you know, staves can't really be refined besides, you know, Raffle and Dazzling Staff. I think you should just have like maybe a Heavenly Light effect. I think that would fit, especially since he already comes with his Earth Balm, whatever. So I think it would stack nicely with that in his base kit. Yeah, that would give him, he would technically be the first healer with a preferred staff other than Veronica, so then that can maybe like start a trend, which would really be nice for healers. And then after Azama, we have Setsuna, which I'd be really excited for because she's one of my favorite characters too in Fates. So in Fates, her bow is basically just, it had dagger effects and it debuffed the defensive stats and skill, I think, or something else. So I think she should just have the silver dagger debuffs, the heroes, but so it doesn't just be really bland with his base effect. I feel like it could have guard too, considering she can already refine into guard bow with assassin's bow, so I think it just makes sense to give her something else besides just debuffs. And then the refine, it'd be pretty niche, but at the same time really unique, which I think is what matters more. So if she's in Fate, she had optimistic, which basically gave her 1.5 more healing when she was healed by staff. So I think instead of just more healing in heroes, like that wouldn't really be that good. She couldn't, if she's healed by a staff, even when she's not damaged, so like basically like restore, she gets attack and speed +6
All right.
after the healing.
So
And
excited.
I think that'll go really well with her because, you know, she's already like this offensive archer at base with her high speed, so she might as well just, you know, go even further with that.
Of course.
And that'd be really fun to play with too, and give like, it'd be really refreshing for like something really unique like that, I think. And then after Setsuna, we got we have Hinata with his katana. And Hinata, I had to really think about this because I'll get to
Okay.
another sword master in Fates, like a samurai. Because
Alright.
their weapons are pretty confusing in Fates for like their growth rates, but Hinata, I think in Heroes he should have a Brave Sword effect, but instead of just having that, it should also have Death Blow. And that's not really overpowered because one, it's not like Hinata's going to be quadding anyone, and two, if Reiner can have just instant Brave effect on enemy phase, why can't Hinata just have Death Blow? And
Ready.
what's her name? Alencia can just have her -2 speed
Power
niche,
overflowing.
but she'll probably get a refine later. But anyways, I think it should have a Brave Sword effect. And then the refine, since he had triple threat and fates, which basically was kind of like a melee ice mare, I guess, if he got hit below 50% HP. I think it should have like a divine tearfing effect,
Alright.
but only against sword, axes, and lances to make it balanced. That way it improves his tankiness, and he can still keep like a good player or enemy phase with a brave sword.
So excited.
So I think that'd be really cool and give him a nice, well, he already has a niche, but it would just make him even more unique and stand out. And then moving on to Oboro, I think since Nephany kept her slaying effect but also got effectiveness against armors, I think Oboro should basically do the same but keep her effectiveness against armors, and instead of a slaying effect, she could get a Wodao effect. Since, you know, Oboro's Fear and Fates gave more crit anyway, and it lowered her speed, so effectiveness against armors makes sense, I think, especially since, you know, she hates Norians, so, and armored units are Norian, so it just all adds up. And then her personal skill, Norian enmity, would really not work at all in Heroes, because, you know, it's not like Norian to half the game this, so I decided to just like come up with something more suited for like her niche as an infantry lancer. So I like thought between her, Lucas, Nephany, and I guess Shiro, but not really, since he needs a refine too, because Nephany's weapon kind of outclassed him, or he outclassed Bright Naginata, because, you know, just effectiveness against armors, slaying, same stance effect, like Shiro needs help. I just thought to give Oboro bracing stance, since her niche among all infantry lancers is basically to like abuse her mixed bulk with her higher res and all of them. So I think that would work out well for her. And then moving on to Sakura's retainers with Hana and her katana. Again, I think you should just keep the effectiveness against armors, especially since for whatever reason she couldn't make follow-up attacks with it in Fates, and it was stronger on enemy phase. I don't know why, that's why I said it was kind of flip-flopped with her and Hinata, so, but whatever. And I think she could get a Fierce Stance effect on top of that at base, just to go along with that theme. Even though she doesn't have the best defenses at base, her base kit altogether isn't really that synergetic. So yeah, and then the refine, I wanted to make this sort of similar to Saizo in that it would basically be somewhat like Savage Blow, but just stronger, and then it'd have like the range of an AoE because she had Fierce Blow and Fates. So I would think it would have like the range of Blazing Wind or something, because that's literally what it was in Fates, so might as well be that in Heroes. Okay, so moving on to Mr. Perfect with Tsubaki. Uh, like Hana, I think he should get a Fierce Stance effect because Tsubaki's Pike and Fates gave more might if he had more skill than his enemy. So along with that, I think he should have a Wodan effect because skill has to do with crits, and crits are basically specials and heroes, so I think it would just all make sense. And then his Refine would be kind of insane, but not broken because I thought that maybe he should just get a Bold Fighter effect, but only at full HP because Perfectionist, his personal skill and Fates, basically gave him plus 15 hit and Void. So I think, well, hit makes me think of skill triggers, and a Void makes me think is literally speed. So combine the two, and you basically have Bold Fighter. And it would let him trigger specials more, which again would make up for his lower attack stat. And then, last but not least, of the Hoshiden retainers, we got Kaze. And then his weapon would basically just be the same as Saizo's, just instead of giving plus 3 attack, it give plus 3 speed like it did in Fates with rally speed. And then his Refine would be pretty insane because he would basically give Miracle within 2 spaces, but only to a supported ally. So basically, basically anyone would be able to run double Miracle basically if they had like the right amount of charges. They could proc it once and then proc it again. Especially if it's like a healer with Absorb or something, like Kaze would be really good support with that, just like he was in Fates. And it would give him a really good niche other than just being like just like Felicia with higher BST basically and slightly altered stats. So it'll give him like a nicer niche, especially since he doesn't have adaptive damage. So yeah, Miracle would be pretty cool. So then moving on to the quote unquote cooler retainers of Fates with the Noreen ones, starting off with Laszlo. So Laszlo, I was kind of iffy on what I wanted his base effect to be because his Blade and Fates gave plus 3 speed and minus 3 to his defenses. So at first I would just think, well, maybe just life and death, but because of his stat line in Heroes, like 26 speed and 30 defense, that would be kind of terrible. So I'm just like, well, instead of that, I think he should just have like a bond effect, like Hinoka and Camilla, in that he just gets plus 4 attack and speed when he's within 2 spaces of a cavalry or infantry ally to like simulate Xander and Perry as the cavalry and Odin and Selena as the infantry. I just thought it made sense, and it would put him at a decent, very decent 30 speed. So like if he did go with a plus speed IV, then he could reach a lot pretty easily. And then the Refine would be really unique in that he would basically get, well, not inbuilt rally, he would, if he has a rally, he basically gets rally attack and speed. Whether that be, normal rally attack and speed or power creep rally attack and speed with, these new skills we're getting with the genealogy banner. But it'll also have the range of a feint in that, basically if he rallies, allies in cardinal directions basically all get the rally. So I think that'd be really cool and give him a nice niche. Just like he was a rally bot in Fates, he can be that in Heroes, but also get the bond effect, so he's not just complete support. So I think that'd be really nice for him. And then Perry, I had a lot of fun making parries because I think it'd be pretty interesting and has like a lot of build potential because it can have a slaying effect, so she could keep that. But then I think it should also, as a base effect, have a divine Tearfing effect, since we don't want to really slap distant counter on her, especially since those can't even be refined yet. So it might as well just be divine Tearfing. So instead of plus 3 res, she's getting a slaying effect. And then the refine, since she had Bloodthirst and Fates, which basically granted plus 4 to like all of her important stats besides magic. I think it should just easily transition into heroes and basically just give +4 to all her stats if she gets a successful kill, which would work well in two ways. Like it could work with a Gale Force build, especially since she already comes with Night Sky, so she's just gotta inherit Astra and Gale Force, and then just destroy stuff on player phase. Or you could give her distant counter, and then it would work well on enemy phase, but not be broken because of her low HP. So she could easily just be panic deployed and you could take care of her. So I think Perry would be pretty unique. So then on to Camilla's retainers with Selena. I had a lot of fun making her weapon, but then again I just had fun making annoying weapons in general. So she would keep her effectiveness against armors because her blade and fates took away 3 speed, so having a slaying weapon against armors would just make sense. And then since her personal skill has to do with critting, she should have a woe owl effect again to make up for her low attack. And then the refine is where it really gets interesting because so if she's with a support ally within 2 spaces, if they trigger a special, she gets instant charge to her special, similar to Fierce Rival and Fates. So that'd be really good because she could basically just get like instant Aether or instant Gale Force or instant whatever that would help her with like her current setup. So I think that would make her like really unique and give her more of a niche than just being like, having really good mixed bulk. And it would like push the support or the ally support even further. And then Baruka, so her base effects wouldn't really, it would basically be the same as her killer axe, just have a slaying effect. And then the refine, since she had opportunist and fates, which basically gave +4 damage when she attacked, when the enemy couldn't counterattack, I think she should just have like an earth sweep effect basically, since she already has like really high defense. So, and since she comes with lunge, it would just go well with like that player phase skill. So she could get an earth sweep effect, hit an enemy and then destroy them on enemy phase because of the chip damage she did. So I think that'd go really well, especially since she doesn't have the highest attack, but it's still decent. So it's like just get the chip damage and then nuke someone with Ignis basically. And then when it comes to Leo's other retainer, Niles, I think he could honestly keep the slaying effect because it's just good with his low attack, and his normal weapon and fates kind of sucked in terms of like actual killing because it literally left the enemy at 1 HP, so might as well try to get creative with his weapon and heroes. So along with the slaying effect, I think it should have adaptive damage since he had a pretty decent magic growth in fate, so it would just make sense. And then the refine, it wouldn't exactly be like the most OP thing or anything, but it would kinda make sense with his personal skill. So basically he would just have a gravity plus effect, which would make sense for 2 reasons. One, because capture in fates, his personal skill, just captured enemy units. So I guess you could transition that to a gravity effect and just like stop the enemy in the tracks. And then you could also say he just learned it from Leo with Brynhilder's old effect. Just, better. And then on to the last two with, Elisa's retainers, the best, obviously. Well, not better than Odin, but, Team Elisa's the best. So Arthur, with his axe, I wanted to be creative with him too, since his weapon didn't really do anything in Fates besides give +2 defense, I think. So in heroes like Jacob's Tray, I think should just give +3 defense. But on top of that, I think should give +2 to all stats when he's at full HP. But, it would basically just be like the first wave of summer weapons, so he takes 2 damage after combat and loses the effect. And, that wouldn't threaten him really because, he has high HP as it is, so taking 2 damage wouldn't do anything, it would just, take away the bonus stats. And then the refine I thought was pretty interesting in that to simulate like misfortunate and fates, which basically gave or inflicted dodge -15 on the enemy, but dodge -5 on Arthur. I thought if an enemy is within 2 spaces, Arthur should get +2 to his special charge, which would really be nice, but it'd be at the cost of the enemy getting +1 to theirs, which wouldn't really be too bad in most situations as long as you one-round the enemy or like one-shot them on the next phase or something, so it wouldn't really be that bad just to simulate the misfortune. And then, oh god, Effie. So Effie, she really doesn't need anything, but I tried to be unique with her, but also not make her look just broken, basically, with her high attack. Like, so I basically just gave her a heavy blade effect, which I think, while she already can inherit Bold Fighter and Vengeful Fighter, just to make her different from like other armors, I thought just to give her a heavy blade effect, you know, to go with 40 base attack, you're pretty much always going to proc that anyway, especially +10. And then the Refine, since she has Science, or whatever it's called in Fates, where she gets +5 attack, I think, if she has 3 more attack than an enemy or something, I thought she should basically just get a light brand effect, but instead of, you know, comparing defensive stats, it basically just compares Effie's attack with the enemies, and if it has a difference of more than 5, then she gets +7 attack. Or maybe less, because, you know, she's got the highest base attack in the game, so she really doesn't need +7, but just, you know, taking note from Lightbrand, I guess. So I hope you guys found this video somewhat interesting. I just really wanted to share my ideas with the Fates weapon, since I've been anticipating Odin's Refine for a really long time, and I thought about what all the other weapons should be anyway, so I just wanted to share my ideas. And I hope, you know, not there being as much arena footage as I said there was going to be wasn't really a problem, and the weapon refinery ideas made up for that. But if it didn't, well, dang, sorry. Sorry for my cringy voice too. You know, if it's bad. You know, first time speaking on YouTube. But like, comment, and subscribe. I guess I don't know. I don't know. uh, I'm just gonna. Bye.